Welcome to an EmpowerPL video tutorial. We are looking at Google Chat. There's lots to look at here, especially with the latest update. So I'm just going to cover getting started, getting going with Google Chat. And we'll not just look at chat, but I'm going to talk a little bit about rooms as well. So what you see on my screen is Google Chat from the view of a domain account. So this means that your school has given you your Google account at your work. So this is not the personal account, which I will show you, by the way, some of the differences between the two. But this is a domain account. For starters, one of the big things that you're going to see up here is this plus sign on chat as well as on rooms. And if I show you the view from a personal Google account, you'll notice that I do not have the plus button for either the chat or the rooms themselves. And the reason being is because in a personal Google account, you're currently still able to use Google Hangouts. And that's really the tool that you have accessible to you. Now, you can actually, as a Gmail user, that's a personal account, you can still participate in chats that are from within chat.google.com, or also rooms if you've been invited to those rooms, or if somebody has initiated a chat with you from a domain account. So you can still participate and use the chat tool, which is different from Hangouts in the sense that they're still sort of held separate to some regard, in that you can use Hangouts as a chat, but if somebody from a domain account has invited you, you would see that appear under chats. I have a feeling eventually it's going to transition everyone out of Hangouts and we're all going to see chat. But chat and Hangouts right now are still used sort of interchangeably, in the sense that, again, if a domain account is chatting with your personal account, you will see it under chat as well as under Hangouts. Hopefully that helps explain a little bit. Hopefully that didn't get too confusing. But let me go back to the domain account because, once again, I want to show you a couple of things. So if I want to start a chat, it's really simple. I just hit the plus button and then I start adding the folks that I'm going to add to this particular chat. So I can add one person, I can add multiple people. So this is how you can easily create a group. I click on create and we're now a group. I'm going to cancel because I don't want those folks to think that we're starting a group chat there. So that's how you get chat going. Really simple. Once you have that dialogue started, you can start basically just talking to each other at that point. I'm going to bring this up so you can see. So here I can say, hi, whoops, how are you? And then hit enter, and the conversation is now starting to happen there between those two people. The other thing too that you'll notice here is when you are chatting, there are a couple of things that you can do. You can add emoticons if you wanted to. You can certainly upload a file, which has been really nice as a feature that's been added that wasn't available to us if we were doing, for example, a Hangout. And in Hangouts, you can add images and video and like, graphics and stuff, but you would have to drop in a link if you wanted to link to a file. And now you can actually add your files here. You can also bring in stuff from Google Drive. And of course, from here, you can start a video call, which is similar to what we had seen before in Google Hangouts. So yeah, that's pretty much how that works. As people start replying, there you can see, I just used my other account to reply. It also gives me some phrases that I can start using to be able to more quickly respond to stuff. So that's really nice. We've seen that also come through in Gmail as a feature that starts to auto-populate your sentences for you. One thing I want to point out here, since we're already in this section, notice it says history is on. Now, the history can be turned on or off depending on the setting that has been set within your organization. If you're able to actually turn that off or not, it really depends on your school account and the back-end settings for that. So definitely ask your domain administrator to see if there's something that needs to be done to turn that, to have the ability to turn those on and off. Okay, so that was how to start a chat. I showed you how you could easily get that into a group as well. Once you start using chat, you might end up with a whole bunch of chats and a whole bunch of rooms. And so you do have a search feature up here at the top that will allow you to find rooms a lot quicker. If you're looking to find a person maybe that you want to chat with and you don't know their account, then you could certainly just search for them up there as well. Down here at the bottom, so I just want to point out to you, because I always get the question, well, what's the difference between a group chat and a room? Like, why would you use a room, right? They're similar in the sense that you're adding more than one person together into a chat, except that rooms has way more flexibility in that it allows you to create threads. And so somebody might pose a question and people are answering that question and that stays within one thread. Whereas I can start another conversation on something else within the same room, but it has to deal with a different topic. And then that sits in its own thread as well. And so that's what those are. So I'm just going to come in here and start a room, and I'm going to call my room demo room. And then I'm going to, I will be adding people here. So I'm going to add my two different accounts that, or several different accounts that we can use here to chat. So you'll see I'm going to, oh, can't add that external account. That's right. So I'm glad that popped up. So you can actually only add accounts within your domain. So I couldn't add that one because it was an external one. So the only ones I can add are going to be the ones that are within my domain. So let me add those two and then get off of that. All right, so here you'll see three checkboxes, one of which is already checked by default here. It says notify people via email. So another thing that you're going to see that is really nice as far as notifications. So one here, as I add people, they it will email them, letting them know that I'm adding them to this group, allowing them to just click on the link and it takes them directly there, which is nice. Here it also says allow people outside your organization to join. That's going to allow me to now add these other accounts that normally I wouldn't be able to add. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is use threaded replies. So remember, I was just mentioning this, that this is one of the nice features about threads in chat that you don't have in Hangouts, and that's that it will organize them for you into sections, which is really cool. So we're going to click on create here so that I can set up that demo. And let me clear this out of the way. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So this is going to create a chat for us in a room. So it's different than a group chat in that a group chat is just a dialogue. It's just a conversation amongst two or more people where, yes, you could certainly drop in links to share links with people. But in rooms, you can actually add files, which is really nice. That's another difference between the two. And it really does serve more like a workspace as opposed to just a chat. So you can really think of rooms in having more capabilities in really working together. Okay, so this is my demo room. And what I'm going to do, meanwhile, we're looking at that screen, I'm just going to go over to my other account and then take a look at the invitations so that I can go ahead and join this room so that you can see some of that functionality from the room. So give me one quick second. I am just switching gears here to be able to join. All right. Meanwhile, though, I'm going to say new thread in demo room. And this is going to, again, allow me to start a thread. Okay, so we're basically just, let's say here we're asking about anyone know how to access the Google Rooms in chat. Okay, so let's say that was, my question. What people are going to be able to do is they're going to go ahead and reply here. And this is going to stay within the same thread. I can start a new thread. anything you want to write. But you'll notice that these are lumped together. And that's really nice because it keeps those conversations separate. Whereas before in a chat, you could get lost in all these different conversations that were happening at different times. And that makes it to where it's complicated, right? Like it's hard to find what somebody was talking about. And so that's not really helpful at all, right? So I love rooms for that purpose. You can see right now, I just went into my email and I just joined with my other account. So now I can come in here and respond. So you're going to see somebody here just responded within this thread. Of course, it's my other account. They're both named the same. But then again, this is going to keep these in threads, lumping those conversations together to make it easier to be able to follow up on things that relate to that particular topic. So really like that. It just really makes things flow a lot easier. Last thing I want to show you here, what we talked about this already, but being able to upload those files, I just mentioned that just a second ago as well, which is different from just adding a link in there. So that's really nice. But the last thing too I wanted to share is using the @ symbol. And the @ allows me to basically add somebody to that conversation via their account, and that will send them a notification. So on their device, whether it's a mobile device, a tablet, phone, or on the computer, it will notify them that, hey, you've been tagged on something. And it will, whenever you get that notification and click on it, it'll take you directly to that section within that, whether it's a chat or within the actual thread within that particular room. So that's really nice too. Anyway, so that's the idea behind chat as opposed to Hangouts. Lots of differences. But if I go to my Gmail, I just want to show you really quick. You'll see Hangouts still available there. However, once again, if somebody has communicated with you that comes from a chat, so if they're actually directly chatting with you this way, you're going to be able to see those same, what are called Hangouts inside of Gmail right now. You're going to be able to see those same conversations pop up there. So just kind of keep that in mind. In certain tools, it's still called Hangout. On a personal account, it's definitely still a Hangout. But you can get to chats from invites. So if you've been invited, and here it is, this is my personal account, there's that demo room. Because I've been invited, I can now participate in that particular room. Since I'm here, I'll show you one more thing. I keep saying one more thing. If you see items in bold like this, that means that there are some messages that you have not seen yet. So that's just a clear visual indication to jump in and take a look at what's been added recently. All right, you guys, hopefully that has been helpful, learning a little more about chat, differences, of course, between a domain account and a personal account, and then also just kind of identifying some of the differences as well between chat and Hangouts.